As you all know, Apple today released new products at their Apple event. And today I'm going to go over the iPhone 11 Pro as well as the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Now, this is something new that Apple has introduced. They have never introduced a Pro model of the iPhone. As you know, there's the regular iPhone 11 that you can choose from, but they took it a step higher and went with the iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max. So today I'm just going to go through some of the details, the specs that come with this, and let's get started. All right, so as you can see, one of the major differences between the iPhone Pro and the regular iPhone when it comes to the 11 series is this trifecta camera. As you can see, there are both on both cameras or on both models right here. It says 1, 2, 3, and it's supposed to give you a better picture quality, more options in both the photo mode and in the video mode. All right, so that's one thing. So we're just going to go down here and look at the specs. As you can see, both of them come in a variety of colors. We have gold, space gray, silver, and midnight green. All right, so let's go. That's the finish. We're just going to scroll down a little bit and let's take a look at what they have right here. All right, so as you can see, the capacity on both the 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max, they start off with 64 gigs, go up to 256 gigs, and then max out at 512 gigabytes. I can only imagine the next model, they're bound to go to the terabyte area, I'm guessing, with the next Pro. But like right now, the max you can get is 512. And of course, Apple also offers the iCloud, which you can store a lot of photos and material if you need more space than this 512. So that's why I think they kind of stuck it right there at the 512 gigabytes. Let's go down to the size and weight. All right, as you can see, they're the Pro model, two different sizes. The regular Pro is 5.67 inches by 2.81 inches with a depth of 0.32 inches. Okay, so that's that size. And then the Pro Max, okay, or the Pro Max right here, it has 6.22 inches long. All right, so it's definitely longer than the smaller one. All right, and the width is 3.06 inches, and they both retain the same amount of depth, with which is 0.32 inches. So they have the same depth. They didn't vary on that. Of course, with the larger model, you're going to get a little bit heavier. As you can see, on the regular iPhone 11 Pro, it is 188 grams, and for the Pro Max, you have 226 grams. So there's definitely a weight difference that you will notice. All right, with size comes weight. All right, let's scroll on down, and we're gonna go to the display. All right, right here, we're gonna talk about the display. Now they pretty much upped the ante when it came to the Pro model for display. As you can see right here, the display screen for the 11 Pro is 5.8 inches, and for the Pro Max is 6.5 inches. So definitely a little bit more screen area, a little bit of more real estate for viewing with the Pro Max. All right, and we're gonna go down and look at the Retina display. So for both models, you have the Super Retina XDR display, and that's for both the the Pro and the Pro Max. All right, and it talks about the 5.8 inch diagonal all screen OLED multi-touch screen display. So they're both the same on both models. The only difference is the size. HDR display, and then it has the pixel resolution down here. All right. Now, for the regular one, it is 2436 by 1125 pixel resolution at 458 ppi. And for the larger one, it is just a larger screen, which is 2688 by 1242, same PPI. All right. The contrast ratio is very good. They're both the same on both models, but you have a little bit more contrast ratio in the Pro model versus the regular iPhone 11. All right, so that's something to take notice of. All right, let's go ahead and scroll down. All right. Now it talks about both models right here. It says both models, all right, both models, true tone display, wide color display, P3, haptic touch, 800 nits max brightness. Okay, that's typical. All right, as they say right there. 1200 nits max brightness, fingerprint resistant, oleophobic coating. So that's the coating on the phone which prevents or resists fingerprints. That's one thing that you should definitely take note of, especially if you're a clean freak and you do not like fingerprints all on your phone that you can see. All right. The support for display of multiple languages and characters simultaneously. All right. That is something great, especially you international travelers, people speaking multiple languages, understanding multiple languages. This right here, support for display of multiple languages and characters simultaneously, is something that might come in handy for you. All right. Let's go on to the splash and water and dust resistance. Okay, if you have a Pro model and you're pretty much taking pictures or video with your iPhone 11 Pro, all right, you're going to come into the elements, okay? So this splash, water, and dust resistance is very crucial for you because, I mean, it's a Pro model. It's going to get rugged and it's going to go through the elements. You need some sort of protection. As you can see, it's rated IP68, maximum depth of 4 meters up to 30 minutes. So that's pretty much saying up to 4 meters, okay, for 30 minutes, okay, under the IEC standard 60529. So that's pretty nice to know that you have that much protection with your iPhone 11 Pro model. All right, with the chip that comes inside of the iPhone Pro is the A13. It's the 3rd generation neural engine. All right, great to know. Now let's talk about the camera specs. Okay, we're going to start at the top. It's a triple 12 megapixel ultra wide, and telephoto cameras. Now those are 3 different cameras. It has the ultra wide, the wide, and also the telephoto camera. So when you're using the camera, sometimes the phone will use all 3 at the same time, which will allow you to get a better picture and more options for, let's say, for instance, zooming. It's a great feature right here. Ultra wide camera, the one that I just talked about. It is an f2.4 aperture and 120 degree field of view. Now that's nice. All right. It kind of feels like we're dealing with a Pro camera. All right. A Pro camera. All this talk with aperture. The wide camera, it's an f1.8 aperture. All right. The telephoto is an f2.0 aperture. Okay. 3 different cameras. 2 optical zoom, 2 times optical zoom, 2 times optical zoom out, digital zoom up to 10 times. So what's really good is the optical zoom out, which is made available due to the ultra wide lens that is on the phone. Now all of these features are just making me all excited about getting this particular product. I still haven't made my decision yet. There's some other phones coming out from different companies that could quite compare to this. I mean, we're coming up on the holiday season, so I'm expecting some of the other makers to come out with what they have for this year. All right, we'll see what they have. All right, we're going to go down to the portrait mode with advanced bokeh and depth control. Now, they're trying to make this feel like a professional camera when they're talking about advanced bokeh. All right. Portrait lighting with 6 effects: natural, studio, contour, stage, stage mono, high key mono. All right. Dual optical image stabilization for wide and telephoto. All right. That's pretty cool. Keep your camera steady, or it appears that you're keeping it steady while you're capturing footage. 5-element lens ultra wide, 6-element lens wide and telephoto. Brighter true tone with flash with slow sync. Panorama up to 63 megapixels. 100% focus pixels wide. All right. Night mode, that's something new that's come to the Pro. Night mode is very crucial for getting some of those dark shots. They use a lot of technology to obtain this rather than just relying on the aperture. All right, so there's a little bit of technology like computerization to get the night mode working properly. Auto adjustments, next generation smart HDR for photos, wide color capture for photos and live photos, advanced red eye correction, photo geotagging, auto image stabilization. Of course, the burst mode is back. Image formats are captured in HEIF and JPEG. Okay, nothing's changed right there. Now let's talk about the video recording, okay? 4K video recording at 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second, all right? We have 1080p HD video recording at 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second. And of course, we have the 720p HD video recording at 30 frames per second. So we're pretty much totally in HD mode. No more going back to standard mode. Video capturing. Extended dynamic range for video up to 60 frames per second. Optical image stabilization for video for both wide and telephoto. Now, that's one thing I noticed, like with the video recording, there's only optical image stabilization, whereas with the photo, they had dual stabilization. Okay, that's one thing to note. 2 times optical zoom in, 2 times optical zoom out, digital zoom up to 6 times. All right. Now, this optical zoom out is good for capturing wide shots for you all who have been recently going to getting aftermarket products in order to get a little bit more wider field of view. This right here may help you out with the 2 times optical zoom out. All right. Audio zoom. I'm not too familiar with the audio zoom, but I'm thinking, my guess is you're able to concentrate the audio on a particular subject or whatever you're trying to capture. Brighter true tone flash. Quick take video with subject tracking. Slow-mo videos support for 1080p at 120 frames per second or 240 frames per second. All right. Time-lapse video with stabilization. Cinematic video stabilization in 4K, 1080p, and 720p. Continuous audio focus video. Take up to 8 megapixel still photos while recording in 4K. So, like when you're recording in 4K, you can take 8 megapixel still photos while you're recording. Okay, that's a bit underneath the 12 megapixel photos that you can take in the photo mode, but it's still a great quality photo that you can capture while capturing video. Playback zoom. Video formats recorded in HEVC and H.264. And there's also stereo recording, which is pretty nice. Next, we're going to go down to true depth camera. 12 megapixel camera, all right, f/22.2 aperture, portrait mode with advanced bokeh and depth control, portrait lighting with 6 effects, natural studio, contour, stage mono, high key mono, animoji, and memoji. 4K video recording at 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second. 1080p, HD video recording at 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second. Slow-mo video support for 1080p at 120 frames per second. Next generation smart HDR for photos, extended dynamic range for video at 30 frames per second, cinematic video stabilization at 4K, 1080p, and 720p. Wide color capture for videos, wide color capture for photos and live photos, a retina flash, auto image stabilization, and of course, burst mode. The Face ID, all right, it's enabled by True Depth Camera for facial recognition. Apple Pay with your iPhone using Face ID in stores, within apps, and on the web. Send and receive money in messages. Complete purchases made with Apple Pay on your Mac. Apple Card, of course, the credit card created by Apple, designed for iPhone. Use the Wallet app to apply for, manage, and use Apple Card. Pay with Apple Pay using Face ID in stores, within apps, and on the web. Titanium laser-etched physical credit card for use where Apple Pay is not accepted yet. All right, that's pretty nice to know. All right, carriers. So far, the carriers for the iPhone 11 are AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon. All right. The cellular and wireless, the bands. I'm not going to get all into this technical right here, but here they are right here. All right. The location has a built-in GPS, digital compass, Wi-Fi, cellular, iBeacon, micro-location, video calling, FaceTime, video calling over Wi-Fi or cellular, audio calling, FaceTime audio, voice over LTE, Wi-Fi calling, audio playback, audio formats right here. All of these right here. I'm not going to get too much into the audio playbacks. But the specs are there. Of course, we talked about the video playback formats. There's HEVC, H.264, MPEG 4, Part 2, and Motion JPEG. A lot of different types of playbacks right here. AirPlay mirroring photos and video out of Apple TV, which is pretty nice. Video mirroring, something pretty much standard with the previous models of the iPhone. All right, so we're going to go down to the Siri. That's pretty much standard. Siri's still doing basically the same thing. The external buttons and connectors, as you can see on the side, they have the volume up and down, the ring and silence switch, the side button, all right, down here, the side button, the built-in stereo speaker right here, that's part of the speaker, and the built-in microphone. All right, lightning connector at the bottom, still stuck with the lightning connector. Built-in speakers at the bottom and built-in microphones as well. All right, so let's talk about the power. Now, with the iPhone 11 Pro, the Pro actually lasts longer than the regular iPhone 11. All right, so like right here, the regular iPhone 11 Pro lasts up to 4 hours longer than the iPhone X, and the Pro Max lasts up to 5 hours longer than the iPhone 10. Excuse me, I said X earlier. The iPhone 10 Max, okay, lasts up to 5 hours longer. Video playback for the Pro is up to 18 hours, 20 hours for the Max. Video playback streamed up to 11 hours on Pro, up to 12 hours on Max. Audio playback up to 65 hours on Pro and 80 hours on Max. An 18-watt adapter is included. Both models include built-in rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Wireless charging works with Qi chargers, all right? Charging by USB to a computer system or power adapter. Fast charging capable, up to 50% charge in around 30 minutes with 18 watts adapter or higher. All right. Some of the sensors that come with the Pro are Face ID, barometer, 3-axis gyro, however you want to pronounce it, accelerator, proximity sensor, ambient light sensor. The operating system that comes with it right now that is available is iOS 13. The iOS is the world's most personal and secure mobile operating system, packed with powerful features and designed to protect your privacy. Accessibility. Features helped people with disabilities get the most out of their new iPhone 11 Pro. With built-in support for vision, hearing, mobility, and learning, you can fully enjoy the world's most personal device. Some of the features included are voice control, voiceover, zoom, magnifier, RTT and TTY support, Siri and dictation, type to Siri, switch control, closed caption, assistive touch, and speak screen. And here's a look at some of the built-in apps right here. Pretty much the typical built-in apps. I'm not going to read all of these, but if you've had some of the previous model of iPhones, all of these should look familiar to you. All right. And here are some of the free apps from Apple right here that you can download. All right. And we're going to go down a little bit more. Headphones, earpods with lightning connector. All right. SIM card, dual SIM, nano SIM, and eSIM. iPhone 11 Pro and iPhone 11 Pro Max are not compatible with existing micro SIM cards. All right, so it's going to be a different SIM card for the Pro Max. So that's something to take note just in case you're trying to swap SIM cards with something older. You're not going to be able to do it. Rating for hearing aids is M3 and T4 for both models. Male attachment support. System requirements are Apple ID required for some features. Internet access, syncing to a Mac or PC requires Mac OS Catalina 10.5 using the Finder, and so on, so on. Windows 7 or later using iTunes. Windows 7 still around. That's pretty interesting. Mac OS El Capitan. All right. Environmental requirements for the phones. Operating ambient temperature 32 degrees to 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 to 35 degrees Celsius. Non-operating temperature -4 degrees to 113 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 20 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity 5% to 95% non-condensing. Operational altitude test up to 10,000 feet. All right. Multiple languages. I'm not going to read all the languages, but they are pretty much every language in the world, minus maybe a few thousand. But there's a lot of languages that work language support and quick type support for even more languages. We're going to scroll down a little bit more. So what's in the box of the iPhone Pro Max and the iPhone Pro? The iPhone with iOS 13 ear pods with lightning connector. That's this right here. I wish they would give us the Bluetooth earbuds, but that's not the case here. USB-C to lightning cable. All right. It's USB-C to lightning cable right here. 18-watt USB-C power adapter. That is this right here. In documentation. So one of the things they made note of in the keynote address, they were talking about the phone is arsenic-free glass display, mercury-free display, brominated flame retardant-free, PVC-free, beryllium-free, recyclable stainless steel. So there's a lot of things that come with this new iPhone that make it a little bit better for the environment. All right. Let's go ahead. And so that's that. iPhone 11 or iPhone Pro. All right. Let me know what you think of the new iPhone. It's a great new product that's coming out. I hope you find it of use, and I hope this video helped you out so you can make a decision. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.